and welcome to This is Public Broadcasting. I'm your host, Captain Rutlidge. In 1863, after years of goading from Mrs. Sarah Josepha Hale, President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed a nationwide day of Thanksgiving. And each year since, there's been a National Day of Thanksgiving, a day to enjoy a proper meal, watch sports, and also enjoy some non-sports related television. Compared to Christmas or Halloween, Thanksgiving just doesn't have that many TV specials to its name. Nonetheless, there have been some pretty memorable Thanksgiving specials to grace the screens of American television, from Charlie Brown to Bob's Burgers, All in the Family to How I Met Your Mother. And then, the BC Thanksgiving. The PBS Kids has not had as many Thanksgiving specials made for broadcast, but those they have made deserve a little recognition. So today, we're going to take a look at the 10 best PBS Kids Thanksgiving specials, at least in my opinion. So give your stuffing a quick check and get those cranberry sauce because there's a full feast of shows on the way. Number 10. Word Girl, Guess Who's Coming to Thanksgiving Dinner? In this episode of Word Girl, Toby and his mother miss out on getting a Thanksgiving turkey at the grocery store, so Mr. Botsford invites both of them to their house for Thanksgiving dinner, much to both Becky and Toby's displeasure. While at dinner, Toby tries to activate his robots in order to get Word Girl's attention, and Becky tries to secretly keep him under wraps. Sometimes Thanksgiving dinner involves being stuck with people you may not entirely get along with. This special spotlights this aspect of the holidays, and although the ending "What We're Thankful For" scene seems a little corny and tacked on, this episode is still worth a watch on Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is here. This is the song you play on Thanksgiving on the radio. Drums.
Number 9. Arthur, Francine's Pilfered Paper. You probably thought I'd be putting an Arthur Thanksgiving on this list. Well...
Hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 1.
Yeah, they say that teacher gives his students algebra problems. For Thanksgiving break, Mr. Ratburn assigns his students topics for 5-page reports. Francine finds information on her topic online, but instead of writing a report around it, copies the whole source and claims it as her own. She earns a good grade, but the fact she plagiarized the whole thing makes her feel guilty. Even though this episode takes place on Thanksgiving, it manages to get across a good lesson about the downsides of plagiarism and claiming somebody else's work as your own.
But even if you had gotten away with it, you still would have paid a price. When someone plagiarizes, there are 2 crimes. First, the author is robbed of credit. And then the person who plagiarizes is robbed of really learning something.
We, the viewers, experience Thanksgiving in Elwood City, we learn about plagiarism, and in the end it's not too bad of an episode.
Binky, Arminius and Gomarus were theologians, not wrestlers.
Number 8. Wild Kratts, Happy Turkey Day. The Wild Kratts team visits the woods of North America to learn more about wild turkeys, all the while preventing Chef Gourmand from hunting the birds for one of his recipes. Turkeys, often associated with Thanksgiving, and a true American bird. Also some of the foulest-tempered buzzards that my grandpa ever had on his farm. This episode works to dispel common myths about wild turkeys, along with how they differ from their domestic counterparts, being lighter weight, able to fly and run fast, and hold their own in fights with predators. It helps viewers gain a better understanding and greater appreciation for what is often just another Thanksgiving dinner centerpiece.
No, I didn't.
Number 7. Martha Speaks, Martha's Thanksgiving. As Helen and Carolina talk about their extended family coming to Wagstaff City for Thanksgiving, Martha starts reminiscing about her old family before she was adopted. With help from Caswo and Pops at the animal shelter, Martha reunites with all 7 of her puppy siblings. When Thanksgiving Day arrives, Skid surprises her with another long-lost relative. The holidays are always a time to meet with relatives you haven't seen for a long time. Sometimes these reunions are memorable, other times you need to put on an Adele CD in the background.
And I am ready to vote for Ben Carson. You are such a...
Martha's journey to relocate her family is very engaging, along with Helen and Carolina's subplot of preparing for the arrival of their nasty cousin Chuck. The final moments with Martha's family are truly heartwarming, but what on earth is up with these hip-hop lyrics?
When you go on a quest, you're looking long and hard for something.
I don't know much about how rap and hip-hop work, but I do know you don't usually define words in songs themselves. Number 6. Cyberchase, Giving Thanks Day. It's Giving Thanks Day in cyberspace, and the Cyber Squad are busy preparing their dinner with vegetables from cornucopia. When they have to go back to pick up a pumpkin for Jackie's famous pumpkin pie recipe, they find all the good produce had been taken by the hacker, who is busy preparing a Giving Thanks Day feast for his niece Harmony. In the end, they work with the remaining less desirable produce on cornucopia to create a big feast for everybody in cyberspace. You know, I never really thought about all the perfectly good food that goes to waste on Thanksgiving Day, especially produce. This episode shows ways to cut down on food waste by buying smart, purchasing just what you need, and using as much of it as you can. A little something to keep in mind, especially when so many people often have to go without healthy fruits and vegetables. Also, Hacker may be a truly despicable person, but he sure is a devoted uncle to his niece Harmony. Sort of reminds me of somebody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Happy Giving Thanks Day, Hacker.
Number 5. Cliffords Puppy Days, Fall Feast. The Howards are on their way to visit the grandparents, with Clifford about to experience his very first fall feast. On the way to the train station, they meet several friends and neighbors, also visiting relatives for fall feast. But when heavy snow blocks the trains, they wind up stuck in the station, but still manage to have a memorable fall feast with each other and what food they were bringing to their own celebrations. Strange. It's obviously a Thanksgiving episode, but why the whole fall feast cover-up? Maybe it had something to do with the UK broadcast. This is a pretty decent Thanksgiving episode. Scenes at the train station capture the hustle and bustle of holiday travel, and everybody getting together in the end to celebrate their fall feast is very nice to see in spite of their situation.
It's good, but I really wanted that carrot cake.
Anyone care for some carrot cake for dessert?
Number 4. Clifford's Puppy Days, The Perfect Pancake. I know, strange having 2 episodes from the same show on a top 10 list, but it's my choice and I'm stuck in it with it. This episode sees Mr. Solomon hosting a potluck dinner for the apartment building in anticipation of his mother coming to visit. As a surprise, he tries making his mother's famous potato latke recipe, but no matter what, the latkes just don't turn out. In the end, Emily Elizabeth decides to surprise Mr. Solomon by preparing one of her family's traditional specialties. Sometimes Thanksgiving recipes just don't turn out. Reminds me of that one year I accidentally underbaked that pumpkin cheesecake. By the way, anybody else notice that they use the term Thanksgiving in this episode? The families in Emily Elizabeth's apartment come from all different backgrounds and ethnicities, as evidenced by the food they bring to Mr. Solomon's potluck. From Jewish latkes to Japanese scallion pancakes, Mexican tortillas, African sweet potato pancakes, and even Scandinavian lingonberry pancakes. Sharing their traditional family recipes with Mr. Solomon adds variety and flair to a day where turkeys and pumpkins are almost ubiquitous dinnertime staples. In the end, it's just a great episode to watch when Thanksgiving finally rolls around.
Can I please try the scallion pancakes?
That's the lingonberries.
Oh, yes.
Number 3. Maya and Miguel, the best Thanksgiving ever. Maya and Miguel. PBS Kids Go's answer to shows like Brace Face and As Told by Ginger. Perhaps I should talk more about this show sometime in the future. Thanksgiving is coming, and Maya and Miguel's Tata comes to visit from Puerto Rico. Of course, Maya plans to give Tata a Thanksgiving to remember, but naturally things don't go quite as planned. No matter though, because the Santos family still manages to prepare an excellent Thanksgiving feast and create long-lasting memories. An episode of Maya and Miguel usually follows a basic formula. Event about to happen, Maya gets an SOS moment, tries to put plan into motion, plan horrendously backfires, quick second feeling of everything's over, then hey presto, things weren't so bad to begin with, and they can get better from here. This episode is no exception to that formula, but it is still an excellent Thanksgiving special. What's more, it's even an excellent PSA on getting your Thanksgiving turkey defrosted far ahead of time.
Uh-oh. We should have started 6 days ago.
Who's the turkey now?
Number 2. Sesame Street, a Sesame Thanksgiving. Big plans are underway for Thanksgiving Day on Sesame Street. A big potluck feast is planned along with a special pageant put together by Prairie Dawn, but Rosita feels upset because her abuela's Mexican dishes are nothing like the usual Thanksgiving turkey, sweet potatoes, or pumpkin pie. However, Sesame Street is a place made up of people from all over, and she soon learns how Thanksgiving is not just about turkey, but also family and friends no matter what you serve for dinner. It's strange how it took Sesame Street nearly 50 years to finally make a Thanksgiving special, but I think the wait was well worth it. I can see this episode resonating with immigrant families recently arrived to the United States, and how to incorporate their favorite traditional cultural foods in American Thanksgiving celebrations. Heck, watching Alan, Nina, Rosita, and Big Bird talk about their cultural traditions made me think about my family's tradition of serving German-style pickled herring and homemade gherkins as starters before Thanksgiving dinner. With all that aside, it's still a great way to introduce preschoolers to why Thanksgiving is celebrated and all there is to be thankful for. What else can I say? It's just that good.
Oh dear! I have to rewrite my Thanksgiving song! I'll be right back!
Number 1. Shining Time Station, Billy's Party. Yep, number 1 is yet another Shining Time Station holiday special. It's Thanksgiving Day at Shining Time, and while passengers are in a rush to get to their celebrations, Billy tries to get his work finished in time to celebrate with the boomers and hobos. But with everybody needing his help, it seems he may not be able to attend his celebration. In the end, he misses the final train, but Stacy, Schemer, and the kids manage to give him a Thanksgiving Day to remember. In my mind, this episode feels more like Thanksgiving than the others on this list. The jukebox band sing classic Thanksgiving songs, the station is full of all the usual holiday hustle and bustle, and Schemer is dressed like the world's tackiest pilgrim. Stacy's story about the boomers and the hobos demonstrates how the holidays help bring people together, and the final feast at the end of the episode shows just what a close-knit family dynamic the folks at Shining Time have. And don't get me started on the Thanksgiving music video. If you teared up at the Christmas one,
thanks for giving all the treasure that I've found, and I wish it were Thanksgiving all year round.
The only negative I can think about for this episode is how Rick Sigelkow and Britt Allcroft took Thomas and Percy's Christmas adventure and clumsily transformed it into a Thanksgiving story just for this episode.
It's nearly Thanksgiving, and I'll bring you lots of letters and parcels.
It's a shame that we Americans never got to listen to this Thomas story as it was intended, but it's still not enough to detract from the overall appeal of this episode. I like to watch Billy's Party every year when Thanksgiving rolls around, and will probably still enjoy it in years to come, making it the number 1 entry on this list.
Dan, pass these cookies around. I made them myself.
Yes,
And those are my picks for the top 10 PBS Kids Thanksgiving specials. Do you have a favorite special that was left out on this list? Well, feel free to mention it in the comments below. And just as we're about to head off to dessert, it's time once again to draw a new station name out of the pretty straw hat for the PBS member station Spotlight. Okay, so let's see who we draw this time. Well, it's way down to the bayou for Louisiana Public Broadcasting. The seeds of Louisiana Public Broadcasting were planted in 1957 when KLSE Monroe signed on to the airwaves from the campus of Louisiana State University. However, KLSE signed off the air in 1964, limiting public television programming in Louisiana to WYES New Orleans. LSU professor Lucille Woodward continued to hound the state legislature on the importance of a statewide educational television service. Then, in 1971, the Louisiana Educational Television Authority approved the funding for the new stations. In 1975, WLPB Baton Rouge signed on as the state's newest PBS member station, followed by 5 more stations from 1976 until 1983. In 2001, Louisiana Public Broadcasting launched the cable-only channel LPB Kids and You, which, opposite of regular PBS programming, showed adult programs during the daytime and children's programming at night, but ceased operations in 2005. Programming for Louisiana Public Broadcasting includes local programs such as Louisiana, the state we're in, and Louisiana Public Square, Art Rocks, and Ziggy's Arts Adventure, along with the nationally broadcast cooking series by John Folse, A Taste of Louisiana, and Hooks, Lies, and Alibis. They have even submitted recordings to the American Archive for Public Broadcasting. If you are in Louisiana, you can tune in to Louisiana Public Broadcasting on these stations, with LPB Kids on the .2 channel and Create on the .3 channel. Well, thank you to everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, feel free to like, subscribe, and share, ring the bell, follow on Twitter, and also don't forget to support your local PBS stations. So more programming related to these Thanksgiving specials can find its way to your television screens. And until next time, I'm Captain Rutlidge. Happy Thanksgiving.
Aren't you going to say Happy Thanksgiving, Clifford?
Yeah, come on, Clifford. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.